and pay respects to our elders past, present and emerging. I would like to sort of acknowledge all the individual current and past councillors, but there's too many of you in the room to do that, which is a bloody good start to a new council term. I think coming together tonight has been the purpose of tonight. We're going to hear from candidates and newly elected councillors, and I hope you're going to get inspired and feel like we're part of a growing movement. That's how I feel. And I think when you hear from our candidates and the councillors we got elected, and you talk to those around the room who just missed out and are going to win next time, I hope you feel how I felt after the council election campaign. I hope you feel connected with each other, and I hope you feel like we can actually change this place. We can come together, do amazing things, change our council, change our state, change our country, change the world. That's how I feel at the moment. And one of the other reasons why I feel that is because we're here at this beautiful Kurdish Community Centre. And I just want to express our gratitude again to the Kurdish community. And, you know, Greens do our politics of consensus and hopefully recognition for each other, 4 key principles. But every time I come and see the way the Kurdish community work, their co-chairing, their belief in a form of ecological socialism, I just realise just how much we share values in the way we organise, in our goals for the planet and in goals for each other. So I just want to again thank the Kurdish community for inviting us here. Our first speaker didn't get elected, much to the shame of the people of Penrith. But I'll give Penrith a get out of jail free card, because Shafak Jeffrey only announced her candidacy like a month before the election started, only started campaigning a fortnight before the election started, and then ran this red hot campaign with her community getting behind her, the local group getting inspired and sparked and growing, and she got thousands and thousands of votes and gave Labor a real run for their money in the North Ward of Penrith. So could you please put your hands together?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Kurdish community. Thank you so much. Thank you, David. Thank you for your kind word. I'm overconfident. I'm already overconfident. So I want to share my experience. First of all, like this is my first time in Penrith, and it's not an easy job. Penrith area is a very tough area, and Penrith Council already very tough council. But sometimes people underestimate their own selves. I underestimate ourselves. But when we start the campaign, then I realize I'm very famous in community. Because during the campaign, I received lots of messages related to how to improve the Penrith Council. And I'm shocked and surprised, I'm not a councillor. But they start sending the messages. And I got 3,000 plus votes. And yes, you are right. The Labour and Liberal parties and the Independent, they spent lots of money during the campaign. And you know, we belong from Greens, we have no fund, very limited budget. But trust me, yes, I'm not able to win the election, but we able to win the hearts. And lots of people, when they saw my face, oh, Shafak, yeah, which party? Greens, just your vote for Greens. Yes, my vote for Greens. I received these types of, emotional remarks. And yes, in Penrith, lots of people wants to join Greens. This is the big achievement. Yeah. Yes. And next time, definitely, we will win the elections. Yeah. So, and my heartiest congratulations to the new councillor, Greens councillor. You know, you all are the bright stars. And I checked your profile. Sorry, Tina, Jody, I checked your profile. You all are the hard worker. The game will be changed. Inshallah, very soon, next election, Green will win the big margin. Thank you all.
Thanks, Shifa. Now, on the 13th of September, I had a brown beard with flecks of red in it. And then in the 2 weeks after, it went entirely grey. And that's because I kept watching the vote count in Ryde Council, amongst other councils. And because we ran this amazing candidate, right, in Ryde Council, Tina Korosrami, who has amazing connections with her community, whose family kind of, from what I can tell, run half of Ryde, and who has been active in our party, talking about human rights, working on the Woman Life Freedom Movement, strong connections with the Iranian community, and then when they pressed the button and the votes got counted, Tina Korosrami got elected, and that was bloody amazing for the Greens. She's now on Ryde Council, and Ryde Council's a pretty hard wicket. If you think Penrith is tough, come and have a time in Ryde. I want to hear from Tina. I want to hear what she's going to do. I want to see her be amazing on council. Please welcome Tina Korosrami.
Thank you, David. I'd also like to acknowledge that we are meeting on land which has not been ceded yet. I like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And I'd also like to express my gratitude to the Kurdish community. It's very emotional being here. And the reason why is because we really put our heart and soul into these campaigns. We don't have what the Labour Party or the Liberal Party has. We don't have the resources. We just have each other, and we just have the policies that we hold close to our hearts. And so for me, the biggest thing with Ryde was that I've been living there since I was 5. So I have so much in mind that I would like to see for the community. But it was also taking a minute and looking back at how we started. You know, when we came here, I was just 5 years old, I was a refugee. We never thought that anyone in my family would go into politics. So just to be here is crazy for us. And the first time I was actually in this room was 2 years ago when our NASA movement began. And I was here with Ismet, and we were speaking about how our people are treated. And so what I would like to see for Ryde is I would like for the people to be treated better. I would like for more transparency on council. I would like to see more attention shown towards cultural diversity and recognizing people's identities and making sure that we're not just, falling under developer greed, and we're actually proposing developments that speak to what the community needs. So I truly want to make sure that I give to Ryde what I have been taught myself by my family as refugees, which is to stick out for one another and treat each other as family. And so big congratulations to all the new councillors, and big thanks to the community that has been supporting us, all of the communities. We could not have done this without all the volunteers, without all the family, all the friends, all the partners. People almost broke up throughout these elections. So big shout out to the partners as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Tina. If you've ever doubted that a refugee policy kind of self-selects some of the most outgoing, capable, amazing people on the planet, Tina Korosrami just proves that point in my mind. Thanks, Tina. Blacktown Council. Blacktown Greens used to be a sleepy backwater for the party, right?
Oh.
You go to Blacktown Greens, 3 or 4 people would turn up, they'd say, what's the point of all this organising? And it was sometimes tough. And you'd come out to Blacktown and you'd think, this is a struggle, we're in it for the right reasons, this is a long struggle, we'll keep this struggle going. And then in the last 3 or 4 years, Blacktown Greens have just caught fire. And become this extraordinary organising part of the party. with connections across different communities, not least with the Sikh community, who've just been an amazing part of our Blacktown Greens. And when they saw this council election coming, they decided to grab it with both hands. Actually, they took their shoes off and grabbed it with their toes as well. It was extraordinary from the Blacktown Greens. We were so lucky to have Hannah come into our office and do some work and some skills sharing on door knocking. She did it with the state party. We went out and did some door knock out with the Blacktown Greens. Patricia loves door knocking, my partner. But we really enjoyed the door knocking on Blacktown Greens and talking to the local community and the kind of connections that were happening. We didn't get Shabir elected, and next time we will. But I remember on election day going to the leisure centre called Stanhope Gardens Leisure Centre. And I walked to the voting booth. It's a big voting booth, like 3,000 people vote at that. I think it's a big voting booth. And I walked in, there's that sort of grassy area, about the size of this room, sort of like a sort of grassy courtyard in front of the polling booth. And there would have been 50 photos of Shabir and Vote One Greens, and it's just this sea of Greens, Greens materials. About 20 people doing how to vote, helping out with how to vote. It's this amazing positive feel, and we got this massive swing to the Greens for Shabir. And so congratulations for that campaign, amazing. And then in the next ward across, where so much door knocking had been happening and so much community organising had been happening, we got Damien elected to Blacktown Council for the first time ever. We got a Green elected on Blacktown Council. And he is so amazingly powerful on Blacktown Council that within a fortnight of him getting elected, he's already peeled someone off from the Labor Party. He resigned from the Labor Party within a fortnight of getting elected. And put him in this extraordinary position where nobody has a majority on council. Where they kept phoning up local Greens and they put calls to me saying, will you vote for us for mayor? Will you do this? Will you do that? And what we said is, well, why don't you actually start helping us with the community? Why don't you start putting us in positions where we can make decisions to help community and put Damien into key committee chairs, and let's work with you on positive change. Let's hear from Damien. Thanks very much.
Thanks, David. I too want to acknowledge that we're on First Nations land and the land has never been ceded, and everyone here, welcome to Ward 2. So the community centre here is in Ward 2. I live in Ward 2. I'm the only councillor for Ward 2 that lives in the area. This is Ward 2, yeah.
Life's the best one.
Exactly. So what we did differently this time is that we really looked at what we needed to do. So we looked at the 2021 results, which were our best results ever to date, where we got 13.9% in Ward 2 as well. This time, when we ran in Ward 1 with Shabir and Tawinda, who's not here tonight, in Ward 5, they both beat that with less resources than what Len had in 2021. So the change is happening. Tregear Public School on an election day got 12% with not a single Greens volunteer on the booth.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's 2028, there'll be 3 Greens on Blacktown Council for sure. Yeah. But what we did differently is that we looked at the key volunteers who were part of our campaign, and we looked at our strengths, and then we specialised. So we didn't want people who didn't like door knocking to do door knocking. We didn't want people who liked to do door knocking to do letterboxing. We wanted people to really hyper-focus. So we had 2 really dedicated letterboxing champions. They both did over 5,000-6,000 leaflets each between 2 people across. So we covered the ward almost twice over.
Wow.
And then we had a team, Hannah and I, Helen, Shabir came, and the people who wanted to do the door knocking specialised and trained. Hannah did the training, she taught us, and it was a game changer. So bigger campaigns, what you want to do is specialise. It doesn't have to be really big do's. And we had a really big door knocking session with David advertised, so well attended, and it was great. But what you want to do is do it on every weekend. 2 people is all you need. Just go to a street and do it. And we worked our way through across the ward, across demographics and everything, and that's where we sort of started seeing the change. And we did this big door knock with David, and I said to David afterwards, I'm like, holy shit, the conversations are amazing, and I think they're in for a chance. And he said, be careful, you might get elected. So here we are. But we are so excited. And then, as David was just saying, the morning of our very first council meeting and swearing in was Wednesday just gone. And I had a call from the Mayor, Brad Bunting, and he said, one of our team has resigned from the party. The morning, she was a returning councillor, she wasn't the first time, so it was that. But so we were able to get the concessions. I was able to get the chair of the Community Services Committee on the advice of David. I was able to get on the Floodplains Committee, secure Deputy Mayor at one session, and change the Deputy Mayor at the moment. We didn't like the candidate, and we told them that. They gave us a name, and we said, okay. So we're able, but this is the change that you can affect even with just one person, so it's really, really exciting. Yeah, my biggest advice is that you don't need a massive team, but you just need a dedicated team, specialise in what you want to do, and just get out and do it. Thank you.
And if you ever doubt door knocking is important, at one point in the count, it was 250 votes that made all the difference for getting Damien elected. So that's the door knocks of themselves, it's the leaflets of themselves. Those things individually were essential for getting Damien elected. So congrats, Damien. Yeah. When I first joined the party, there were a number of people that sort of were in the party and we worked with, not least is Lee Rhiannon, our amazing former Green Senator. But also one of those people who I knew from very early on in the party was Judy Greenwood. And Judy was just this incredibly positive, incredibly hardworking, incredibly principled part of our party. And kind of like, you know, when you come into an organisation and you expect people to be there forever. Judy has been there throughout my time in the New South Wales Greens, and it's just always been this kind of sense of purpose and generosity and common sense. And very rudely, she left from my part of Sydney and wandered off to Parramatta. Very rude, very rude. And then when our amazing first ever Parramatta councillor decided to retire, and I don't think retire is quite the word, Phil, but stop being a councillor, and Judy stepped up and said that she would run for the ward, and to take on, if you think Penrith is tough, or Ryde is hard, or the shenanigans in Blacktown are tough, welcome to Parramatta Council, right? Where they are known for some pretty notorious shenanigans, like, and if you want to do hard politics, get elected onto Parramatta Council, be in a key swing vote, be Judy Greenwood, because she got elected, she's amazing, she's the first Greens woman we've had elected Parramatta Council, she's going to change Parramatta. Judy, what do you tell us about that?
Thank you. Hello everyone. I also acknowledge the land that we are on has never been ceded, and thank the Kurdish community. David has set a very high bar. I'm not sure Parramatta Council is actually rescuable, but I will do my best. So it's a council, one of the most interesting things about the Parramatta Council area is there's a lot of people who've lived there for a long time who trace themselves back to the First Fleet. Wow. And then there's waves of immigration who've come in. There's people like me who have come from the east that they don't like because, you know, they've been there a long time, and I'm coming over there and taking their houses now. And there's waves of various different immigrants in the area. So we have a very, very active multicultural communities of lots of different types, and the communities themselves are not always at peace. And so it's a very challenging area, and community services is one of the things I'm most interested in, and building up these peaceful relations between different communities, because really we just want to have our lives. Like, we all just want to live. So just finding ways to live together is the most important. So I don't want to talk too much. I will tell you just a couple of things. That is, Phil's been fantastic. I was really lucky to have a massive team behind me, so I don't feel like I had to work as hard as I might have in other campaigns. I did one thing that was very different to other campaigns, and that is I targeted schools in the morning. So I'd go to the schools in the morning and talk to people dropping off their kids at schools who walked to school. So, and these people amazingly were really happy to stop for conversations, and I got so many stories through these people that I wouldn't have got any other way. I met a lot of communities. I met Alice. And I already feel incredibly privileged at the stories people have shared with me. So, yes, to Parramatta, we haven't had our first meeting yet. No one's decided who's going to be mayor yet. There's lots of shenanigans going on. They don't have any standing committees. They only have advisory committees. And same with Cumberland, actually. So for Sujan, sorry, I should also acknowledge Sujan, who's not here, who's tried, I think this was his third go for council, and he's run in other campaigns. This is a man who works really hard. Now he's had to go overseas, or otherwise he would have been here tonight. But he is also elected in Cumberland, first Green elected in Cumberland. He pretty much built that community himself. He worked really, really hard to build a community presence there. So a really important thing for the Parramatta Greens will be supporting Sujan in this new Cumberland Council that he's in, which is another tough council. Strong, very conservative elements there. I think I'll leave it at that, so I'll hand back to David.
Thanks, Judy. Yeah, we got our first Greens elected onto Cumberland Council. And when Sujan, who has been campaigning 3 times, he's run, I think, on four separate occasions, including state, federal and council. But Sujan, together with our connections through the Tamil community in particular, really got their teeth into the Cumberland campaign. It's Wentworthville Ward. And I remember going to Sujan's launch over in Toongabbie, and I knew something was happening because on that last bit of the drive, last like 3 Ks through what is now Sujan's ward, I kept seeing his face in the front of people's yards as these yard signs. There's Sujan, there's Sujan, there's Sujan, there's Sujan, there's Sujan. And by the time I got there, I was sort of counting them up. And then I go into Sujan's launch, and there is a group of like 70 people. There is the most delicious dessert that I kept eating being served. There is a sense of community connection. There was a sense of enormous support for the party, but also for Sujan, who is, if you haven't met him, gentle, principled, incredibly hardworking, just one of these people you meet and you know that they run through life making friends and making change. That's Sujan. But he's now on Cumberland Council. That is going to be a bloody tough run for him on Cumberland Council. I personally think we should get a chunk of high rate paying land that Parramatta Council stole from Cumberland Council and give it back to Cumberland Council. And I'll talk to you about that later, June. But Sujan didn't do this alone. Sujan ran this campaign with these group of volunteers and supporters, some freshly minted Greens, who I hope will stay with us for the course and build our party and build our movement. And not least of those is Gokul and Gopal, who I've asked you to hear from quickly about what it's like working with Sujan, what it was like doing the campaign, what we did differently this time. Okay.
Hello everyone. I'd like to acknowledge the First Nations people, past and present. It always was and always will be Aboriginal land. This is the first time I did acknowledgement to the country. So I'm not Sujan. Because when we did the door knocking, people kept calling me Sujan. Because we did have the same type of hair, so that's why shade is not So, um, Sujan sends his apologies. He wanted to be here, but he couldn't. As usual, he is selfless. He is flying to Sri Lanka to help an elderly lady. He called me. He said, "Oh, I can't be there. Can you go and speak on behalf of me?" Okay, it sounded so important, so I didn't really question him. I told him, "Okay, what do you want me to say?" So, what worked in our campaign? So, from his point of view, what he thinks is the door knocking. And I joined him in few of the streets. He did continuously door knock for many days, and spoke to people. And as usual, he is very gentle and he listens. He just listens, but if you can talk to him for hours, right? And people really get to see him. In few of the door knocking campaigns, I noticed that people telling him that. You are the first person to come and knock on our doors. We don't even know who else running for for other parties. So there was a really great void. People felt disconnected from the politicians or who is running for the council. I think Sujan filled that void very deep. So this is what Sujan told me, but from my, as a new member of Greens and person, first time doing the political campaign in entire Australia. So I'm going to share my observation as well, so it won't take much time. But before I forget, I want to thank a few people. One is Miss Lee. Thank you. She's been a constant presence in Tamil community. Right? She's a very important person for Tamil community, and even though I'm a new member, she never spoke to me like I'm a new person. Like, this is what you want, I will get it for you, right? It's ready to assist. Second person I want to thank is Dex. That's my personal thanks. I just met him during the campaign and he's been really teaching me a lot of stuff, and Anna as well. We did the donor training. I want to thank other candidates, and I think the Greens are a really nice bunch of people. I met other candidates as well. I find them very cunning and very they never spoke straight. There is always some meaning behind what they say. So back to Sujan's campaign. I think this time what worked is he announced himself that he's running for the council nearly 6 months ago. So he put up the flyers, and this time what I felt is that he's firm. There is a certainty he provided. In the previous campaigns, when we talked to him, he's very modest, not really going for it, but this time he just announced that I'm running for it. That made a whole lot of difference for a lot of people in the community. That if we are going to support him, we are going to stand with him.
He beat the mayor too.
What's that?
He beat the mayor.
Oh yes. Lisa is the right of her name. Yeah. And I need to thank her as well. The reason is we attended a couple of public meetings with Lisa, and Sujan and I, we are sitting at the back because it's a public event. So we are at the back. We are not part of any the front row, but she willingly mentioned his name. We have Sujan sitting there. I think it's just some politicians really wanted him to be there as well, right? And that's what Sujan is. And also, so once he got elected, we met and he called me and said, "Oh, we got elected. Then what we are going to do?" Then the first thing we did is we recorded whenever we went on the door knockings. When people said comments, we noted it down. So we started consolidating what people wanted, and that's the list I think he's going to attack first, that he wants people to fulfill on. That's pretty much it. And also, even though we belong to the Tamil community, we have a deep roots in there. One of the things Sujan and I, we've been friends for 12 years, right? We always thought is that since we are in Australia now, we don't want to be exclusive just to ourselves and our community. We want to, whatever we want to create, we want to create for everyone. So this time, Tamil community is only 3%, 4%, but he presented himself as that he's for all the people in the area. I think that made a huge difference, and that's it. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Coco. And yeah, it was really different. It really felt like we were going to get Sujan elected from the moment he came out of the stalls. And I think that's something to remember. Take it like they owe it to you in the campaign. Our final speaker is somewhat known in this community. A couple of people have seen him around from time to time, and he ran a red hot campaign in Inner West Council. And I had the privilege of doing some handing out with Ismet on a number of occasions during the campaign. And Balmain Ward is gorgeous, right? It pokes into the harbour. And at one point, he had me up at 7:30 in the morning, handing out at this ferry wharf, looking up at the harbour bridge and just sort of showing off about how pretty Balmain was. Other times, he had me up in the shopping centre talking to proprietors. But I realised Ismet had almost like a secret power in the area. And it was his hard work. But a number of people said that he was the most handsome candidate. That was a repeating thing. They pointed to his, I think, but that wasn't what got him elected. I realised because all these local residents in their sort of late teens, early 20s kept coming up to him and talking to him like he was their uncle. And then I realised it was his football coaching for 7 years that gave him this connection across the entire bloody ward, and they kept coming in. He got elected on the basis of being a football coach as much as anything else. This long-term commitment, people that knew him there. But if you know Ismet, you know it's not the football coach, it's not the fancy posters that he had up. It's just this incredible commitment to live his politics bravely, to say it unambiguously, to actually be there and listen to people. And I've watched Ismet listen and reflect back what people's concerns are. And he is going to be an amazing councillor. We're so lucky to have you on Inner West Council. Tell us how you're going to change the world, Ismet.
Thanks, David. And before I started, I'd like to acknowledge we are meeting on First Nation land. This is always will be First Nation land, as I like Kurdish people and our history. And also I want to acknowledge, as you maybe all know, as a Kurdish leader, Mr. Abdullah is being self-isolation under heavy torture. It's almost 26 years. Yesterday there was in front of Parliament House gathering Kurdish community, and I hope he will get his freedom and be with his people. And I wish I shared this moment with him and with both my parents. It didn't happen, and hopefully it will happen one day. And also I would like to acknowledge Lear Hannan. She I know her almost for 8 years, and she put so much in me, in my life, and also my political career. Even I'm here today, I don't think it will be without Lee, and I don't think this will happen. I'd like to be glad and also acknowledge. Also, I want to say thank you to David as well, as really during beginning of my campaign, before campaign, he will always sort of encourage me what need to be done and how to work and be really advocate for not just for Kurdish community, for everyone who doesn't have a voice. And thank you to David. Also, I'd like to say thank you to Kurdish community and the Federation of Koche, which is Bruce Gaveri, and Tim, I call him, and Timo, and also Gulai, as they're also here. And once I thank you to them, is also give that opportunity together today. And also want to thank you to all Kurdish community who they really support me, and also my Green family as well. And when I first announced I'm going to run a local election, and at first I was really excited, and third, and I was like, after that, I thought, what I'm gonna do it, how that's gonna happen, and not experience. It's really also different place. It's not in Blacktown or not in Parramatta. It's not like somewhere is multicultural, just normal, really like I'm not sure I'd be raised like white people live there and dark skin and from Middle East. It's not easy. It's really not easy. And David was there, Lee was there. We had a really did campaign almost from first week of April, and we did every Saturday morning from 7 to 10 o'clock or 8 to 12 o'clock, 4 hours every week. And also weekday we did also do campaign around ferry, school and bus stop, and to listen to people and just make sure you're there and people see how hard work you are, and people they really acknowledge that, and which is that what we did. And also we bring different environment and listen to people, and it's lots of people they want you listen to them, and just even they know you're not going to change everything, just listening to them, and people they feel like you're acknowledging them, they feel like you are there for them and be their voice. And so many people first week they were angry or they really be saying not nice thing, but second week they come to you because you listen to them and you answer that question, and people they really support you, and people they like to you representing them, that's what I think we did. And also I want to say massive thank you to Baron, and he asked me, and I think which is why I'm trying to say when I say what I'm going to do it, Baron said we're going to do it because as our election campaign manager, and he was really busy, and me and Baron we said, can we take our own campaign? And Baron take all my campaign and run all social media and everything, and we reach everyone, and we try to listen to from people from religion sides, people from normal community, talk to mother, father, kids, and everyone will listen to them. And end of the day, which is last week of the pre-polling, and that was really tough time for me. And why it was tough time is so much negative energy was there. They published lots of not good article about me as my political belief and also my heritage where I come from. But I think people saw me and I'm not ordinary person. I can bring a nice thing to Balmain and be voice of everyone. And Balmain people choose me to representing them, and yeah, this is ridiculous.
When you listen to Ismet, you realise that actually politics is not that hard. You listen to people, you care about people, and you want to change things to make things better for people. And that's kind of what Ismet was. He will do that, I am certain, over the next 4 years. It actually is a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, but those core principles of listening to people, respecting people, caring for people, and wanting to help people, that kind of is a political movement I'd get on board with, Ismet. So thanks so much. I really want to thank Larissa for having done a huge amount of work from my team. Larissa, thanks so much for doing the work. I do want to introduce you to Ash Palapathy, who's just joined our team as a community and party organiser. We want Hash to be really busy and work really hard, so constantly call Hash and get him to do it. We're really lucky to have you. We're excited to have you on board, Hash. That'll be great. Yeah, cool. And at this point, we'd just like to say a thank you to the Kurdish community. And Larissa has got this gorgeous set of flowers. So if you would come forward, we'd like to hand out flowers and thanks. Come. Thank you. have each of the speakers come forward. We just have a very small, hard-to-kill gift to give each of you as well. So if you just come forward, each of you. Thanks, Damien. He's better.
Really close. Closer, closer. Yeah, really close.
Sorry, apologies.
Yeah, so we actually hope that the rest of the night people will just talk and mingle, share ideas. Thanks again for everybody coming tonight. It's been really exciting. I hope you feel more inspired at the end of the night than at the beginning. I do. Thanks everyone for coming. Cheers.
Sorry, before everyone go, please don't go because it'd be good to be just have a massive group photo if that's okay.
Yeah, but I'm not sure.
So,
I do not have to see. Yes, it is. This thing is.
Just quickly, we're getting our photo taken by another former Green Senator scholar.
Alright, this will work.
Hey! Hey! Hey!